Hello riders, today on the vlog is all new retro-inspired Suzuki GSX-8T and 8TT. I just spent all day riding both of them, half of the day on 8T and half of the day on 8TT. They basically feels like the same bike, especially on the hot day like today. When the sun is shining, it is very, very, very hot. Only difference you feel as a rider is the airflow, because 8TT has this little fairing. I think it's called bikini fairing, but it might not fit into the old school bikini because the entire retro inspiration is very modernized and looks completely different from the classic motorcycle that was an inspiration for a designer of the new Suzuki T and TT. Forgot how good a Suzuki 8 platform is. Everything is super exciting to ride, like everything. The throttle response, the brakes are sharp, like it just works a treat for a rider. And I love the 8S and I love the 8R, but I thought they are lacking what I personally like about the bikes, that like custom feeling and that classic hint into it. And once the T and TT was announced, I got super excited, and now I am riding one.
We are riding all-new Suzuki at the launch in Slovenia. We left the streets of Ljubljana behind where we were staying and heading towards the mountains. Slovenia is small, but it feels expansive when you are on the bike. Tucked between Italy, Austria and Croatia, it's one of the greenest countries in Europe, and about 2/3 of it is mountains. Perfect for testing a bike like this. Something about this bike that just feels right before you even get on it. It has quiet confidence. You can see the retro influence right away. The fairing, the tank lines, the mirrors at the bar ends. But it's not pretending to be old, it's more like paying respect to the past while standing firmly in the present. The first few kilometers mountain roads, and I could already tell it's built to move. Not just physically, but emotionally too. The engine has this beautiful rhythm to it. It doesn't rush you, but it's always there, ready to respond. Smooth, torquey, and just so easy to trust. It feels alive in a grounded, reliable way. Like it wants to ride with you, not against you. You don't need to think about specs and numbers when you are on it. You just feel how it pulls you from corner to corner. There is a natural flow that gives you exactly what you need without making a big show of it. And that's something I really value. Power that's actually usable, not overwhelming. Just real. The old bike feels stripped back to what matters. The exhaust stays tucked in, the frame feels solid but never heavy, and the whole silhouette is clean. It's designed with care, like someone really thought about how it would feel to live with this bike, not just how it would look on the paper. And maybe that's what makes it so special. You can feel the collaboration behind it, the Japanese engineering, the Italian design touches. It's like a conversation between cultures. It's not trying to impress you with noise. It's inviting you with the experience.
The main difference between the 8S and the new bikes by Suzuki is purely visual, but also they had some changes, internal changes as well. One of the biggest is the introduction of a new Li-ion battery, which is a lot lighter and a lot smaller comparing with the previous one, which reduced the weight of a bike as well as has a lot longer charged life. So if you live in a country like UK and you have a problem with a garage space or parking space, or like in my case, my garage don't have electricity, they say that the new battery can stay not charged like 3 or 4 times longer. I will drop the numbers because I enjoyed the ride, guys, and I've forgotten the actual numbers, but the difference is very significant, and it really makes difference for people who live in the colder countries, not very cold, but like colder countries where the temperature drops down to 0 and the battery goes flat very quickly. It also charges significantly faster comparing with the old battery. Also, another new thing that Suzuki introduced for the first time is the bar end mirrors. If you are a fan of retro and classic motorcycles and custom motorcycles, you obviously saw and fit and like their bar end mirrors. I'm a big fan of it, and I fit them on my first build on the CAF Racer. Now the size, guys, I'm 1 meter 75 centimeters, 5'9", and the bike fits me really nice. As you can see, I can stand absolutely flat foot on the ground, but also the weight of it is so well balanced that you would have no problem if you will tip your toe, because it's just so easy to hold it. The new mirrors, they are big enough, and also they are not sticking out too much. So if you'll see, like, my elbow almost ends where my elbow is, even though they are bigger than what we normally fit on the custom bikes. When I sit like this, I cover about 1/5 of a mirror with my elbows, and I can see everything behind. The visibility of them is incredible. Being me, I would probably go upside down just for the looks, but that feels very good. And the look from the top, which you will see a lot today while I'm riding, it's very neat and clean. I really like how TFT is hugged with a fairing, and it's kind of like inside, so you don't really like the size-wise of the fairing just fits perfectly. I love the look of it. I love how clean it is, and it's a modern bike. It looks retro, modernized retro. It doesn't look classic. It looks more like a hint of retro on it. But at the same time, I really like the kind of square and sharper lines on it and how modern it looks. But at the same time, it has, like I say, that custom feeling to it. I am really, really impressed how they've hidden, just like on the custom bikes we do, or finished all the surfaces and everything to a very nice, like a lot of thought into detail on this, and how they tucked all the technology and everything nicely inside, so you can't see a lot of like wires, and sometimes on the bikes you can see that, and this really, they did a good job.
Wow. So now it's 4 o'clock and we left the hotel at 9. We had 1 hour for lunch and we had a couple stops, but most of the stops we were riding because for photos and videos backwards and forwards. So basically I've been on the bike for quite decent amount of time, and I can say I could feel a little bit that rest, but mainly because I had to keep up with those guys. At least I tried to on those bends, and sometimes I got like, oh, my body got a little bit too tense because it's unfamiliar situation, and they are fast, those guys are. So mainly because of my own fault, because I wasn't relaxed enough. I don't think I would have that a problem if I would ride more relaxed speed and the roads that I know. My bum feels absolutely fine. I don't feel any pain at all. My back, everything is just like the sitting position is so comfortable. I got rid of a rucksack and put it in the supported vehicle, which is very lucky. So I don't even have like upper back pain, which I get when I'm wearing the rucksack. But it's such a nice, such a user-friendly sitting position. You can arch your back and relax it, or you can arch this way or that way. And it makes it the difference when I get tired of like a little bit slouching, then I arch a little bit more, and then I don't have any back pain at all. Overall, like moving on the bike, moving with the bike, and I tried everything on those bends. Just feels really good. So, but it's the same ergonomics as 8S or 8R, and it's not a surprise because I felt the same on the other bikes. About the airflow, we have an extremely hot day today. I have a lightest riding jacket and I'm still boiling hot. It's very, very hot day. So really don't feel like I appreciate the breeze into me, but I definitely could feel slight difference between having a fairing and not having a fairing. However, on a hot day like this, it's not that noticeable as you would probably notice on the colder day when the airflow makes a big difference. Our ride going to the end, and I could ride more. I could definitely go more and more and more and more, and I'm really, really enjoying today.
Can you please introduce yourself, because I can't pronounce your French name. I know the English version, Arthur. How do you say it in French?
My name is Arthur Vidal, a French designer.
You're a French designer who lives in Italy and works for a Japanese company.
Yes, exactly.
Brilliant. And you are responsible for, so if you have any complaints, this is a person that is responsible for those retro designs.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit how it happened. Like, how did you came up with that?
Okay. Came up, let's say, with passion first, because I'm really passionate about motorcycle. I'm riding every day. I have classic motorcycle too. And I really love the story. So especially the story of Suzuki. And so often I'm looking at that past. And like one day, for example, I was walking in Japan to the Suzuki Museum, which is really great. And there are so many bikes over there. And some of them are quite special for me, like as an enthusiast and designer. Sometimes I saw them and say, oh, okay, this one can be special, and it's kind of a timeless design. And for example, the T500 from Suzuki from the 70s was this kind of motorcycle. And so that's why it came up in my mind that if we could reproduce this kind of motorcycle nowadays, it could be great, because like it was an all two-stroke. And nowadays we've got like the good 800 engine, and both bike like the T500 and nowadays the 8T or 8TT has a twin cylinder. So I feel it was a good match together.
That's how you came up with the inspiration
Yes.
of a bike. And you mentioned yesterday that you bought a bike too.
Yes.
That's some commitment. And that color, in that orange-red color as well, that it's not in the picture, but I will show the picture. It's my favorite color, by the way.
Nice.
I think it's brilliant. It works so well with the design.
Yes, I think Suzuki is happy about my passion about it, because I'm spending a lot of money to Suzuki, because yeah, as I said, I love classic motorcycles. So when I start designing it, say, why not buying the old one? And so I could like directly see my bike, get the feeling of it, because the feeling is from 70s, so I say, okay, maybe if I buy it and I'm riding it, I will get this feeling and all the details. So I'm sure not like to respect and make a good homage to this bike.
When you showed us the pictures yesterday, you could see where it's coming from, the history, and you can see a resemblance between two, but still, those looks like completely modern bikes.
Yeah, there was two philosophy. First one was a timeless revival, so to have like making something live again, and then was a fusion of the past and present of Suzuki, because we want this bike for many people, and if we can have like old styling sometime but with nowadays base, it's really great for like a lot of riders, because some will get some nostalgic effect and some will just like have this recall of a timeless motorcycle.
That's brilliant. How did you came up with that little, is that bikini fairing
Yes.
inspired? Yes. How did you came up with that and the belly pan? Because that looks different from 80.
Exactly. We first begin with the 80 and was really fun, like to bring the past back of Suzuki nowadays. And so this was more inspired by the 70s. And we say, why not like continuing to have fun to do this and going more into the 80s and having a bit more sportier mind, because we've got like many sports rider. And so we say, maybe we can bring a more sports model. And so for this one, the inspiration was more American, from the AMA Superbike, with especially Wes Cooley, who was a pilot that was riding with Yoshimura on a Suzuki GS1000. And this GS1000 has really a similar bikini call, with, for example, the chin spoiler at the front and really this image. So we had the bikini call and the undercall and more sportier seats to make from this one another bike with another identity and continue this revival of Suzuki's.
If you will ask me personally, 8TT would be my preference. Of all the Suzuki range, of all the GSX-8 range, this would be my favorite bike because it ticks every single box. It's great to ride, you can take it on the track, you can take it on any road, you can take it touring, but also it's the head turner. It does look like a bike from that custom motorcycle show. At least for me it does. If you don't agree, tell me which one is your favorite. Leave a comment, 7 words or more will help the algorithm and help the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and like this video to help this channel grow. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.